everybody, and welcome to Generally Speaking, the podcast that bridges the worlds of pop culture and personal development. I'm your host, Jennifer Snook. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I hope everything has been going well in your world. Here is what's been going on in mine. Well, big news around here, you guys. Just this week, I finally got monetized on YouTube, and I'm going to tell you, it has been a grind. People think that it's really nothing big, but I'm going to tell you, it's quite a feat getting to 4,000 public watch hours. I mean, truthfully. And the only reason I really leaned into YouTube is because my body had been breaking down at such a rate that I just couldn't imagine that I'd be able to like keep a traditional job. I needed to find a way to monetize my content so that I could stay home and just really kind of pay more attention to getting well, because that would allow me the flexibility to, not have to be beholden to a schedule or anything like that. Because I just get so nervous about a traditional job when my body is so just unpredictable, really, because of how sick I've been. So anyway, that is why I was really leaning into YouTube, and I really appreciate all of the support that I've gotten from you guys. In fact, if you're watching this on YouTube now, this would be a great opportunity to go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Make sure you go and watch some of our previous episodes. Keep those numbers high, you guys. Truthfully, it really helps because it really allows me some flexibility with this health journey I'm on, and truthfully, because it is not a fun ride. Anyway, you guys, here's what is going to be a fun ride. Austin. We are heading to Austin just next week. So you guys are going to get that family pod. I'm so excited about doing it. The girls are excited. They're participating. They're writing out some questions. We're going to do like a Q&A situation, and I'm thoroughly pumped about it. Anyway, you guys, that's what's happening in my world. Let's talk about what's happening in the world of reality. I mean, what in the holy P. Diddy is really going on, right? But truthfully, I mean, I don't know about you, but I never looked at P. Diddy and caught a good vibe. He always, to me, seemed like a guy who was just all about the flash, all just lost in the sauce. I mean, he is just, you could just always tell that he was faking the funk, that there's just nothing that really rings authentic and true with Puff or P. Diddy or whatever the hell you want to call him. And the fact that he changed his name to Love, and even that felt so fake when it happened, didn't it? P. Diddy is like the perfect example of the fact that money will only make you more of what you are, right? When you grow up and you're feeling like shit about yourself, you think that money's going to make you feel better about yourself. No, it doesn't. And that's why until you heal the wound will continue to win. And then when you add money and a massive amounts of money, if you're still a wounded soul inside, chances are that's just going to make you more of a monster. You're just still going to be operating from that broken, wounded place, and we see exactly what happens when you add money. I mean, you get P. Diddy, and a guy who thinks he's God and thinks that he just gets to fuck with other people's life just because just because he's the president of Bad Boy Records, or he's P. Diddy, or, I mean, honestly, who does he think he is? It's unbelievable. Speaking of unbelievable, apparently his old gal JLo thinks that his behavior is pretty unbelievable. She came out and made a statement this week about how she's so disgusted about what a monster he's turned into. And I mean, good for her, because he has. Speaking of JLo, though, I mean, she's really in it. I mean, poor JLo and Ben, they are going through it the last couple of weeks. I got to say, though, I do not think, you guys, I do not think that this is it. I think that this may be a little bit of a growing process for them. They're shifting and moving into these new roles. I mean, after 2 years, the excitement fades away a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, just a little bit. And now you're really kind of dealing in reality. And so they're just, I think, adjusting. I do not think that either one of them got into this relationship a second time, without a lot of thought about it. And I just don't think that they're willing to throw it away after 2 years. I think that would be crazy. And quite frankly, I will be pissed because I was loving their happily ever after, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I mean, life happens, and sometimes, you think that you should have been down that road. You peek your head down it and you realize that maybe it's not everything that I dreamed it would be. So, I mean, that is possible. That might happen. I'm sitting here waiting just like the rest of you. But I did think that it was funny that Ben is starting to screw around with the paps now about it. Did you see everybody's like, oh, look at Ben. He's smiling. He's finally smiling because he's not with Jen. When he was leaving his son's school the other day, he was very obviously hiding his left hand just to rile up the paps. I mean, people are like, oh, he's hiding his hand again. He was doing that just to yank their chain, you guys. And how hilarious. Did you see his sweet little son? His little son jumped out, had a camera with him, jumped out, was playing paparazzi on the paparazzi, and it was hilarious. And Ben was cracking up, and that's why everyone's reacting. Oh, look at Ben. He's laughing. He's smiling. Yeah, because him and his kid are getting one over on the paps. It's not because JLo's not in the picture. Come on. Okay, you guys. Okay, as for Royal Watch, I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that Harry was in the UK and didn't see any of his family at all. I am so bothered by that. If Charles wants to be a leader, I really, really think that he could be setting a great example about being a bridge for his boys, right? Instead of teaming up and pairing up and it's us against Harry, be a bridge. I don't know. I think it's something about that generation that they don't know how to do it. They're just so stuck in their ways. Okay, you guys, bouncing on over to Bravo. Something about her finally opened. The sandwich shop that we never thought would actually open its doors has finally opened its doors, but apparently the first day did not go well. There was a technical glitch. The POS system was down, which meant the people were waiting hours and hours and hours to get their hands on one of these new sandwiches. Andy apparently was there for the soft launch, which I think was on the 21st. I know the grand opening was on the 22nd, but a bunch of the Bravo heads showed up for the opening. The only one that wasn't there was Miss Lisa Vanderpump, who came out and made a statement saying that she's very well versed in the restaurant business and she doesn't want to go on the first day or even the soft open because she wants to wait until they iron out the kinks so that she could get the full experience. And truth be told, I kind of get that. It's like when you do a stage show, you never want anyone there opening night. You always want them to come, like second weekend once you've worked out all the kinks. Makes all the sense to me. Oh, and for all of you people that are out there, I've heard it, I've seen it on Instagram all over the place. They posted when they posted the menu, everyone was up in arms about the prices, but I just want to give you guys a heads up. Those are pretty standard in West Hollywood. I know, I work literally in West Hollywood, right around the corner from the shop, and those are very standard prices. And I know they're pricey. They are pricey, but they are standard for the area. And I'm going to go and have one of those sandwiches very soon because I do love a sandwich. It's got to be said. Catherine Dennis, you guys, do you remember her from Southern Charm? She was arrested for DUI, and that is clearly a shame. You hate to see that that's still where someone is in their life, but that is where she is. And if she was in a better spot, those things wouldn't be happening. Apparently she was overheard saying, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. But truthfully, looks like you are because you haven't learned the lessons and grown into that spot where you're living life differently. So, the lessons will keep repeating until you learn that lesson. You will just keep repeating it. So, I mean, good luck to Catherine. I hope that she moves through this. I hope that she grows through this. And I hope that she very soon sees a shift in the way that she operates. But the way you operate does not change, though, until you change the way you see yourself. Until you change the relationship that you have with yourself, Catherine, nothing else changes. So you're just going to keep repeating that. So start working on the inside. Speaking of cars and things that went wrong, Melania Giudice was in a car wreck this last week in her convertible Mercedes. Thank God she was okay. But unfortunately, Melissa was asked about the wreck, and she says that she hasn't reached out to her niece, but quite frankly, who can blame her? There's such a divide right now. Like, I wonder at what point, like if something happened to one of Joe and Melissa's kids, would Teresa reach out then? I mean, when does it end? I mean, when is there just not some just common grace for your history, for your parents? Melissa also commented, speaking of the parents, she commented on those comments that Teresa made about her parents giving her signs from up above. Melissa was talking about how those comments she made were completely disgusting. And you guys know there is nothing that has riled me up about Teresa more than, I mean, there's been a lot of things that have riled me up about Teresa, but those comments just recently just lit me up because I cannot believe that she was weaponizing her dead parents and his parents. I mean, he has nothing left. And now you're gonna say that your parents are telling you to turn your back on your brother. So unreal. Speaking of Teresa, you guys, I told you that Namaste Bitches podcast had seen its final day. I knew it. I knew that it was about to end. I called this one. It was just, the writing was all over the walls, you guys. And now apparently Teresa came out and said that indeed it is over. She tried to say that, oh, Melissa Feaster is just too busy because she's pregnant and about to have another baby. But newsflash, she's not that busy because Melissa is still very actively doing her other podcast, the Side Piece podcast. She's just going, full force on that. So I'm sure she would have been able to do the Namaste Bitches podcast had things not gone so sour between her and Louie, because that, once again, is why things went sideways with that, because of Louie and the fact that he did not like, basically it was about, he didn't want Teresa to have equal billing with Melissa. He wanted Teresa to be the sole star of the show. And that's why, he didn't like it when Melissa would use, pronouns like we, or like, because it was basically, he expected Melissa to be Teresa's sidekick. And the fact of the matter is she ran that show because Teresa doesn't have the mental acuity to do it herself. So truthfully, when you listen to that show, it sounded like Melissa was in charge because she was the one that was creating the structure. She was the one that was driving the conversation. She was the one that was trying to make Teresa look like she wasn't as dense as she is. I mean, she was constantly trying to reframe what Teresa said and trying to make her sound smarter. And let's face it, that is no easy feat. Captain Sandy is about to get married, you guys, over in the below deck realm. And apparently Captain Lee is salty because he didn't get the invite, but I'm not exactly sure why he would expect an invite. He said that something about he didn't like the way that she ran a ship or ran a boat, or he didn't like it, but I really don't blame her for not wanting him there. Also, there is apparently beef between Kyle and Craig in the War of the Spritzers. The Loverboy founder was on Watch What Happens Live last night, and he was saying that he did not like the way Craig went about, dipping his toe into the seltzer world. And then he tried to backtrack it and kind of eat his words, but clearly there is something there. Over in Beverly Hills, you guys, we are about to return. They have already started filming, and on the roster this year officially is Kyle Richards, Dorit Kemsley, my girl Erica Jane, Sutton Strack, Garcelle Beauvais, and joining the cast is newcomer Bosom, I think that's how you say it, St. John. And apparently she is quite a badass. She has had incredibly high-ranking positions in some of the most incredible companies in the world, and she is serious business. I'm talking, she is a true powerhouse in her own right, and I am excited to have that energy there. Then we are being joined in a friend capacity by Kyle's beloved sister, Kathy. And I mean, that is huge. I love that. And then we have Jennifer Tilly. What a nut she is. I think she's going to be fun. I'd like to see her not with Sutton all the time. I'd like to see her engaging with some of the other girls. yeah, like I said, they've already started filming, and I'm excited to see this season. I really am. Apparently, the higher ups told Dorit, you either dive into this PK situation or you're out. Okay, everybody, that about does it. Let's move into our reality check. Let's get our girl Christy on the line. Good morning, my girl.
Good morning.
Can you believe it's early, right?
Yeah, I dreamt about us last night because I knew we had to wake up and do this. And we were in a hot tub. I was snuggling your neck. My cousin was taking a shot. I'm like, what's happening when I woke up?
That's like your psyche is prepping you to get up, isn't it true?
Exactly.
I know it is a different vibe shooting this early in the morning.
Yeah, it's a lot
different. But I'm here for it. Also, let's tell everybody. First, here, I was going to talk about this. You know, at the beginning of the pod, I always do, here's what's happening in my life. And I was going to talk about this, but then I thought I was going to wait for you because I know that you were part of it. I was going to talk about what's happening in my life is my mother and the way she is out of control commenting on Facebook, and how I wake up every morning. And I'm sure there has to be other people our age with parents our age that are doing this same thing. But this indiscriminate posting that my mother is doing.
Yeah, I know,
I know you saw it. That's exactly why I was waiting, because the last one, which don't talk about it because I don't want anyone to come for my mom. Only I can do that. But it's wild, man. It is unbelievable the shit my mom says.
Well, it makes me wonder, is this what your and my future looks like?
I'm going to tell you something. I'm giving my kids full authority to, like, if at any point they say, we're taking over, I am acquiescing. They can have all of it. I will not go down like my mom is. I will not go down like that.
Yeah, it cracks me up because I see what she's posting on so many of our friends' things.
I wake up to friends sending me screenshots of shit that my mom says probably three times a week. You've done it. I have so many other people that do it too. That's the crazy. And then I say to her, Mom, stop with the questions. Stop with the questions. If you have a question, send it privately or ask me. Ask me. So the other day I wake up and I can tell. Here's the problem. My mom doesn't sleep through the night because she's in so much pain. So she's on the phone through the night. And there's no one regulating her. So it was a big deal. The other day I woke up to a text. Jenny, who was that in the picture with so-and-so?
Right.
And at least she was asking me, but that was only with one person. It's because I came down on her about that one person. And now, so she did. So she called me, or she texted me, and she asked me that privately. But then the very next day, that one that we just saw, and I was like, and that one was a doozy. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, good.
I mean, there's worse things in the world.
I know, thank God. There are also better things in the world, like your birthday. Okay, everybody. Yeah. Christy turned 52 on Wednesday.
I did. And Mark said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go to San Juan Bautista. I want to have lunch at Hardeen's, where we were married 24 years ago. I want to go to Daisy's Saloon and have a drink. And driving down there, you know, seeing the farmland, seeing Gilroy.
Don't make me emotional.
The music's on. My soul just rises and everything is calm and so good.
Oh, that's right? So sweet. Yes.
You know what
You're making me cry. Stop. No, that is so sweet. There's nothing better than spending your birthday with the people that you love in the place that you love. And I know you love San Juan Bautista, and so do I.
Yeah, it was a good day. Good day.
I love that. Well, happy birthday, babe.
52.
On that note, let's get into it. Okay, we're starting with part 2 of the Vanderpump Rules Reunion.
Yes.
The
Lala show.
Which I thought started out with Lala really I thought that was so interesting, the way she just kind of laid it out there, because we would have never, given what we saw of Katie this season, we would have never expected that Katie was talking any shit about Ariana, but apparently she had a lot to say.
Right.
What about the money situation? When she said
Well,
she was behind on her bills and that she was MIA, she wasn't around. I mean,
so it probably was when she was on Dancing with the Stars and she was getting busy and all her good stuff. So
Katie has a right. That's the thing. I feel like why was it out of bounds for Katie to express herself to Ariana? Shouldn't have been. She should have just been straight up and honest about it. She should have made that part of the show and just expressed herself.
Instead of going to Lala, who she's not really close with.
Yeah, why are you telling Lala? Why don't you go ahead and, I mean, I suppose she didn't want to put the pressure on
her
after everything that she'd been through, but then, you know,
yeah,
can't say it in this group of people and expect it not to come out.
Well, with some of them, I think Lala just wants to be heard and seen, and hear me roar.
I don't think that she is hear me roar. I think she is let's make some common sense. How in God's name does being cheated on? Imagine this. I was thinking about this today. Say you're in a stage show. Say you're in Chicago and you are playing the female lead and you're in a relationship with the male lead, right? Shit goes sideways. Guess what? The show must go on. You don't get to say, oh, it's happened so many times before. People have to, that's the difference. That's why they keep like trying to compare Randall. Randall was not a core player in that show. He wasn't one of the foundational cast members. So not the same.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, I get what they're saying. Like suddenly you were on the gravy train the whole time and now you're willing to get off and throw the whole show off the bridge because you're set.
Well, what bothers me is Lala, every time she has something to come at people for, it's because, well, I'm a mother. Well, I'm a mother. Everyone's got their bills to pay and their shit to do, but it's like,
that's true.
With the mom show.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Everybody has a living to make.
Right.
Everybody has a living to make. Katie calls. Oh, then what did you think about Katie and the fact that she tried to say that she's been authentic for the last 11 years? And I said,
authentically Katie.
Yeah, I said, yeah, if being vindictive, manipulative, bitter, jealous, if all of those things are being authentic, then yeah, exactly, Katie.
I think that's exactly what she was saying. And Ariana said the same thing.
I heard Tom Schwartz say that even now at this point, she is still the most, I think the word was vindictive person that he's ever met.
Wow.
I mean,
what a horrible way to be described as a person.
And I don't think that he wants to feel that way about his ex-wife. I think he'd like to say she's wonderful. Tom Schwartz doesn't.
Bubba.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wanting, he would love to be able to give her glowing reviews, but he just can't because he'd be lying.
Right.
And he only lies about kissing Sheena.
And loving Joe. No, he said he really did.
Yeah, and the fact that Katie even expected Sheena to come to her. Can you imagine something happened 10 years ago? Some schmuck tries to kiss you and you're going to go and
tell your yeah. But that's so Katie. That's so Katie.
Delusional.
Exactly.
Absolutely delusional.
And did you hear when Brock said to Schwartz, well, you did this to her. And Sheena said, you were a horrible husband. He says, I was not.
Yeah. I know. The topic of boundaries came up and Ariana tried to defend hers, which, yeah, I suppose. She says that the way she did it is no different to the way Lala did it, just like what you were talking about. But it is a little different because she's not still continuing to live under the same roof with the same guy that she claims ruined her life and she feels unsafe with.
But Lala didn't own half of the house with him. It was Randall's house. So
Guess what? She would still own that house even if she moved out. Moving out of a house does not wipe your ownership off the board.
It's, these men in Bravo that are the ones that are the dirty dogs. They're the ones that are staying. Like Jax is in the house in the valley. Tom Sandoval, cheater. You should leave.
You should leave. Then they brought, after commercial, they brought out Allie and Joe. Joe. And
Fidgety Joe.
Poor Joe. She's it's so funny. It was like the reunion went from being very tense with all of that stuff to just instantly very awkward. I mean, instantly so awkward. But I did think it was hilarious because once again, we heard Tom Schwartz talking about the fact that their relationship was really beautiful. He says it all the time. He called it magic in the bottle. Who says that?
Oh,
who says it was really like magic in a bottle? I mean,
yeah, their vibe is good together.
I'm looking at my little Albie on a walk right now, and God, he's cute. Yeah, they truthfully, I really thought that they were a vibe. I really did. I don't know what happened. That I feel like something did happen. I wonder what it was, the way, what that talk that they referenced. Then we were on our path, he said. I think we were on our way to a relationship, and then something happened he like backed out. Like,
I don't know, but yeah,
I kind of feel like it's probably maybe he caught wind of the fact that she was eager to be on the show, because I feel like she was eager to be on the show. Like, isn't that why she's still doing all these Instagram lives? Have you seen her Instagram lives?
I have, and she was on Rachel's podcast also.
Was she?
Yeah.
I refuse to listen to that. I'm telling you, I don't have that much life left. I mean, we none of us know how much life we have left, and
exactly.
I just cannot waste any of my time on Rachel going
rogue.
I could come up with a couple other words, but yeah, we'll go with rogue.
Andy's talking to Allie about
her readings,
her $195 an hour readings.
I know. You want one of those for your birthday?
I would love it. I'd love one for
You know what I should have got? Oh my God, I'm really annoyed now.
If you say a cameo from Jax Taylor, I'll kick your ass.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what? I just when you held that mug up, it reminded me of, see these cute mugs, you guys are, so many of our sweet high school friends are like, I want a mug. And also I want to give a sweet shout out to our dear Ashley Lagore. Who says that she listens to us up. Where is Ash? In Seattle, right?
Ashley's in Portland, Oregon.
Portland.
She has no idea who we're talking about, this Vanderpump and all Bravo, but she just wants to see us together.
I know. I love that. Love you, Ash. Cheers to you.
Exactly.
Okay, so my good as gold moment of the night, that's what I'm calling it, for this reunion was when Katie looked at Schwartz and said, when Schwartz looked at Katie after all that came out about Max, her sleeping with Max.
And he said, we're the same?
Yes. And we find out that not only did she sleep with him once, but definitely twice, and maybe plenty more times. Yeah. But the fact that he goes, Katie, we're the same.
We're the same.
We're the same. And did you see, I'm telling you, you could literally see her. She was like, no, we're not. No, we're not. But you could see behind her eyes, she was like, wait, maybe, are we?
Yeah, I loved it.
So good.
He's our little sweet boy.
I loved that. Okay, then over on the Valley, it's
the Valley.
The Shit Show Express, man.
This was an emotional roller
This
coaster.
is Big Bear gone bad.
Baby moon gone wild.
I mean, truthfully, for those two people trying to have a baby moon, basically a nightmare. Basically, I mean, like epic fail.
Right. It was a lot.
Horrible.
It starts with Michelle and Jax talking, going into.
Right. They kind of flash back to where we left off last week about those sexy pictures.
Yeah, Jack's he's covering his face saying, I'm sorry I brought this up. And
I know.
pretending that.
So you're going to handle this? She says, so you're going to handle this? Like, what?
Yeah, give us a fucking break.
So you're going to handle this? She goes, yeah, I'll handle this.
Now go handle your wife who's sick in bed barfing.
I'm going to tell you something. This episode with him left me speechless. I don't want to jump ahead, but it really fired me up. Then Jax, oh yeah, because he loses his shit on her really early in the episode.
Yeah, and he opens the door and he's leaving it open, his hands on the handle, and he's telling her, you're the only one barfing. She didn't
even maybe she's the only one sick.
She had 2 drinks.
I mean, it seems clear to me that Brittany probably does have an issue with a health issue, and maybe she shouldn't be drinking. Exactly. But in the next breath, poor girl.
The stress that he's putting on her, and her body is probably, mentally and physically going, help.
Well, it's genuinely, it's so true that I've said this a million times. The universe will come in and intervene. When you stay in a relationship too long that is stunting your growth, the universe will come in and create all kinds of chaos. All kinds of chaos, yes, to disrupt this pattern, this unhealthy pattern that you're in. Yeah. And sometimes it shows up in your health, like, I got to get out of here. And it pushes you. It pushes you to a really hard edge so that you're like, I don't have a choice.
Exactly.
Because while she did have a choice, she chose to stay. So the universe is like, it's almost like popping a zit.
Yeah, get out of that dark cave.
Yes, you're getting out of this dark cave one way or another. So I feel the same way. I feel like this is fully the universe sending her messages.
Exactly. Poor thing.
Poor thing. Then Jesse apologizes to Danny for crossing. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was sweet. He knew he ruffled his feathers. And Danny needed to hear it. And poor Danny in this episode.
And also, though, I don't know if we would have seen that apology from what's his name? Jesse. I don't know if we would have seen this apology from Jesse before his ayahuasca retreat.
Truth.
I don't think that he had that in him. I think that it was the falling away of his ego that allowed him to show up like that for Danny and even relate to him on that level. I don't think that conversation would have even come out of his mouth before that.
Yeah, he has really changed. I saw him on Watch What Happens Live after the show, and I love him. Then
while they're out there having that vulnerable moment, Janet comes out, and they were in just such a vulnerable moment that it was just like, get out of here, because they didn't want to ruin that vibe. But I get her point too. I mean, she's like,
right.
I was coming out here to tell you guys dinner's ready, and don't fucking yell at me like that.
Was hangry.
Yeah, hangry.
Yeah, so Jesse telling her, don't come out
and
here.
Pregnant, so that just multiplies everything by 10.
Right. Threw her into a tailspin.
And also, even if you weren't hangry, whatever, that was a rude way to greet someone.
Exactly. So they're talking about, and Danny's just voicing how tired he is,
Yeah.
Well, and he says, I'm tired because I'm getting the kids up and placing them on the boobs. Okay, you're placing them on your wife's boobs, who has to feed them also. You know, you'll get through it.
I know. I think he knows that she's putting in the time. I think he's just like, this sucks for me too. Yeah.
Exactly.
You can say this really sucks for me and still know that it sucks even more for someone else.
Right.
And then while everyone was eating, Jack started talking mad shit about Brittany. Did you see that?
Well, and to the women too, he's asking them, I'm going to ask you, how many drinks did they have? And they said, we never opened the cooler.
Meanwhile, Brittany's locked away feeling like total shitola. I mean,
she wants to be with the group.
Of course she does. She's Brittany. I mean, she loves a party. And can you imagine feeling so shitty? You're in a room feeling so shitty to the point where you can't engage in a party that you want to be at, and you hear your husband talking shit about you. I'm telling you, God strike me dead. I would the marriage would have been over before the weekend was. I promise to God that I would have. I couldn't even believe it. I could not even believe it.
Yeah, the way
blown away.
I wasn't, because he's such a it's him, and he just gets worse and worse. And the way he was speaking to the women, he says, "I'm going to ask you one more time." Oh, really? We'll tell you one more time. She didn't drink. Everyone's just watching their marriage, going, "What is happening?"
I also think everyone's looking at Jack saying, oh my God, what in God's name are you? And how has she lived with you for this long?
Right.
And not for nothing, but it's a sign of real sickness. The fact that Jax is absolutely sick, but it is a sign of real sickness to stay with someone that is that sick. So Brittany needs to go and do a lot of healing and work on the inside to figure out, what it was about herself that allowed herself to stay in this. And you don't just get to say, because I believe in marriage.
Exactly. And Jack's saying that he goes to therapy. Well, you don't follow through with it. And there's also a book he should read. It's called I Hate You, Please Don't Leave Me.
Jax is the one that needs to do a little ayahuasca.
Exactly.
He really is. But the next morning he apologizes to Brittany, and
and they just played nice. But she also did say that she realizes that Jack is sucking out her, or what did she say? Jack is
sucking the sparkle out of her.
Jax is sucking my sparkle. Thank God. So
you just noticing?
Exactly.
I mean, it's past that. I feel like it's way past sucking your sparkle. You are sick. I mean, you're vomiting. I mean, like purging Jax out of you.
Yeah.
Then everybody's up in arms because they think that Zach
posts on his Instagram story.
Boop, boop, boop.
Give me a break, Janet.
They think Zach is up there and that Kristen's probably with him, and they're like, I don't know, gonna put a spell on their house or something.
Exactly.
Hilarious.
It wreaked havoc on the baby moon.
I know. Okay, cruising on over to Summerhouse. What an episode.
What would Jesse Sutton do?
What would Jesse Solomon do?
Solomon, new merch. He needs that shirt. Exactly what I have goosebumps.
No, it was so cute. I was so here for it. I mean, I think he is a peach. I feel like I need to introduce him to my daughter.
Oh my God.
I feel like I need to introduce Jesse Solomon to Carly.
Oh.
They'd be a cute couple.
Yeah, and she's tall.
And let's talk about this. Calcium really does a body good.
Right.
Calcium, good for the balls.
Good for the balls.
Good for the balls.
Celebrate. Jesse Solomon is healthy.
And then the show opens. It's the dawning of a new day for Danielle, right? Yep. Dawn, the name of her new app that she finally has gotten off the ground. I say new app, but I feel like it's really a very old app because
revived.
I mean, she has been working on this for what feels like forever. But right. I did kind of think it was a cool idea. Think about sitting there, you know what I mean, over coffee, and meanwhile your phone is like,
put this sweater with this anything.
I thought it was, honestly, you do an inventory of all your stuff and then it just boop, 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 boop.
Exactly. It was a great
I'm here for it. Then Oh, then is the party. Oh, and then as her, what do you call that? So we're at her launch party for Dawn, and then we got to meet her mom. That's the first time we've ever met Danielle's mom, and I feel like that woman probably has a lot to answer for.
And so sweet. She just kept, it was all about her mom. You know, she dedicated the party to her mom, introduced everybody to her sweet mother.
She did, and that is great. And I was sitting there, and I actually got a little choked up, you know, because I'm such a sap when it comes to that shit. So she's sitting there, you know, dedicating the night to her mom. And then I sat there, and right after it was over, I'm like, maybe her mom funded this whole thing. And if she didn't dedicate it to her whole mom, her mom's going to be like, hey, lady, you wouldn't be here without me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Which is very possible. Then the guys find a quiet corner and ask Carl about what went down with Lindsay last week. Remember when he ditched her out?
Off in the car without her luggage.
Exactly. Remember that? And they're like, they asked him, how'd it go down?
He slept in the guest room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you saw Lindsay in the confessionals saying that she's just gonna stay on this side of the party. I mean, it is so rough.
More trouble in paradise.
It is so rough. And then Gabby questions West about what went down with what's going down with him and Sierra. Are you guys willing to put a label on it? And then they flashed back to them doing that horseback riding trip.
Right.
And I thought it was so great the way Sierra said to him, listen, we're fine, but if at the end of this I feel any game vibes, then I'm out. And I thought it was so great because she kind of like, it's giving him space, but like putting him on notice. You know what I mean? In a way that just kind of is truthful and honest. And I just love her. I think she is so amazing. And also, I'm so into them.
I am too.
I am so into them.
I am too.
It's ridiculous. I'm already envisioning like their whole family.
The ranch wedding.
I love them. You know who else I love? Gabby. I've decided I think Gabby is a really cool chick. I think she
burp or something, and she says, well, this is why my dad says that I'm single.
she's like a down girl. You know what I mean? She's not pretentious. She's just, I think she is a really cool chick.
Yeah. I
Then in Kyle and Amanda's car on the way out,
coming home from his dad's 80th birthday.
I mean, did you see Kyle's dad?
Is he not a spitting image of his father?
It's unbelievable. Well, do you remember what his mom looks like?
Yeah.
Because facially, he is very much the spitting. I feel like his parents are very similar people, and he is both the dynamite that came from both of them. Yes. That father, I mean, 80 years old.
Playing pickleball.
I mean, like a boss. Did you not just playing? I mean, he was handling it. Did you see that? So impressive. I sat there thinking, if Amanda ever thought that, you know, I'm just married, like whatever, you know, sometimes people die young, like that family doesn't have the die young gene.
Kyle forever.
You've got Kyle forever. Kyle will be outliving you. Exactly.
And is saying how much she loved being out in nature and by the pool, just like what her dream, you know, it's her dream.
Yeah. And I thought that was really sweet too. But did you see him on Watch What Happens Live?
Yes.
That I was feeling really good about the state of their coupledom when that episode was over. But then when he was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy, it did not sound like they were in a good place.
I'm lonely in my marriage for the second time.
For the second time. I don't think you say that shit if it's not true.
Exactly.
You don't. Nobody wants to report that about their relationship.
Right.
Then let's see, where are we? Oh, then we cut to Carl and Lindsay's drive.
And she says it looks like we're driving into the apocalypse.
Yes, and he says, yeah, it looks like the end of the world.
Christy
Dun,
the
dun,
wall.
dun. And honestly, at this point, it's hard to watch. I mean, it's painful.
Yeah, I know. We're just watching it go down.
It is so hard to watch. Then everybody they all get to the house, and then they all get ready for dinner. They all think they're going to dinner, but it's really the
surprise celebration for Jesse.
Yes, the cancer-free celebration. Your balls are in great shape, and we're all so happy about it. And I mean, did you see the balloons, the ball balloons? So funny.
Color balloons.
The best. This was such a good episode, such a good, fun episode. And that song, so him getting up and doing that song, I mean, well, we knew he was a singer. He talked about that. He was like in a men's choir, right? Didn't he even said that like he majored in music or something like that?
And him standing up and singing a song about friendship to his new friends and how much they meant to him, and singing about every single person. Some of them were a little roasty, and it was great.
And he said at the very last line, what would Jesse Solomon do? At the end of the day, he's just a big Jew. I loved it. I love that guy. Then it's the day of the
party.
And did you see who was back?
The balloon guy.
The balloon guy Joe is back.
Yes.
And Danielle is still humping his leg.
Danielle.
Back up in their bedroom, Lindsay grilled Carl about what went down with his little talk that he had, because he sat down with Kyle, had a talk about getting back on board with Loverboy.
And Coach, I want to know, you got to ask all the right questions. Lindsay's doing what she does, she's a great partner, but Carl wants sensitivity and softness from her.
And she's like, I'll be sensitive and soft after you give me the facts that let me know that we're going to be able to survive. Okay, the party starts, and not long after, I mean, they were at the party for 5 minutes, and Lindsay was already, did you see that, in the kitchen, pouring herself a very stiff drink?
Straight vodka in the red Solo cup. Not even
that's serious business.
Yeah.
Things are not well.
Wes has all his friends. He has friends from his life.
And he's so excited to introduce them to Sierra.
Yeah.
And then he said, I have to introduce them to my friends. I need to make sure that she's able to do like a 9-hour football day. And
he said, if she's able to watch football from 10 a.m. to 9 a.m.
But didn't you think that, of course, Sierra, I mean, I think that's small potatoes. I think Sierra could do that. Like, she was doing that long before she ever met Wes.
In a jersey with eye black under her eyes and a beer, and she's got you.
Please,
Wes.
this is Sierra we're talking about.
That's small potatoes.
Know your audience. Lindsay, then back in the kitchen, Lindsay pours that drink and says, I'm going to go have another talk with Carl.
Yes.
And she tries to approach the same beast the same way. And I feel like they're just like this. You know what I mean? They just keep.
And it's funny because Carl uses his psychology talk, of course. Well, this is what I'm hearing and this is what I'm feeling. And for the first time we saw him yell, he was yelling. And I think that happens a lot behind the scenes on things they don't show us. Like
100%.
Go in the car. Remember when I said, why didn't they show us them driving back from the restaurant?
Right.
Episode 2.
And the same way that, truthfully, of course he can be an absolute asshole. No one in their right mind, if you're really on a team with someone and someone says, hey, I need you to take my luggage home, you take the luggage home. You don't just totally blank the person that you're supposed to be in a partnership with. You don't do that, because that's just not what partners do.
Right.
Jax.
These men of Bravo.
I mean, ridiculous.
And Paige says they shouldn't get married.
Yeah, Paige said
it. Paige knew it.
Well, and Paige, I feel like Paige knows what's up.
Of course she does, our little Paigey.
I love her. Did you see also her commentary about Craig when she said he really wants me to need him more, so I give him a little of this and I give him a little of that. But let's be real, I don't need him. And I sat there thinking, no, you don't.
Right.
I mean, she doesn't.
No.
She doesn't. Let's see. Oh, did you see? And then that's basically it. I mean, Carl and Lindsay have that talk and it just
It
goes,
ends with them fighting. And
it ends with them fighting.
season finale is next week. I'm so sad.
I know. Did you hear on Watch What Happens Live last night? Did you see that the guy that was behind the bar that ran that foster care? I wrote this down just because I wanted to talk about it because I thought it was such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah, May is National Foster Care Month, and last night on Watch What Happens Live, Andy had Rob Shear, his name is. He runs that nonprofit called Comfort Care, and they provide travel bags and necessities for kids that are going into the foster care system. And I just love that. I'm telling you, the whole plight of foster care kids rips my heart out. And the thought that organizations like this exist to help ease that blow for them, I think is so important.
Yeah, it was great.
So important. I am definitely donating to them. Okay, let's cruise on over to Jersey. Let's rat your hair up a little higher.
Let me get my spray tan on. The
I know.
spray tan situation just I love it.
So things are jumping off down at the shore, and no one had even had their first cup of coffee yet before John Fuda asked Jen Fessler what was up with you going to talk to Teresa.
Right? These Fudas are just angry.
John Fuda wanted answers, and I think she just wants to get in the ring a little bit with Teresa and just kind of. I think everybody that deals with
harmless.
Teresa.
She's not talking shit about anybody.
No, I think that she absolutely has a friendship with Rachel. I think she loves Rachel.
Teresa, she said it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it's breakfast at Jennifer's without Teresa and Louie. They had to go back for the moving away for the which one is leaving? Gabriella. Gabriella's going to college and they need to pack her stuff.
Right. So it shows now it goes to Joe Gorga's house and they're talking about his Italian themed birthday party that's happening that day. And he says, that he wants to invite
because before that, Marge had gotten a call from Dolores, who felt badly about leaving Jen behind because when they woke up, they were supposed to have Teresa and Louie there, and now Teresa and Louie are gone. It's just her and Jen, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to this party," and she kind of felt bad because Jen's left.
Right.
So she told Marge that, and then Marge told Melissa and Joe that. And then Melissa said, I'm not one to leave people out. And that's when Joey picked up the phone, which I thought was so sweet.
Because they're friends.
They're friends. And he genuinely likes Bill.
Bill, that's right. Drunk Bill. There's nothing better than a drunk Bill.
I mean, drunk Bill is pretty hilarious.
Good time.
There's another one trying to escape his spouse. Same way Brittany's trying to do. So let's see.
So he said he's not coming to the party because Jennifer and Melissa need to have a talk.
And did you hear though when he called Joe brother? Jen goes, "He's not your brother."
Oh, jeez.
She is just so petty. But you could tell he wanted to be there.
Of course,
he wanted to be there, but he was standing in solidarity with his wife. And my God, did she love that? Did you see her? No.
Yeah.
We're together. We make decisions together. And I'm just sitting there thinking, honey, he only didn't go because he doesn't want to deal with your wrath.
The wrath of Jen.
And let's face it, it would be the wrath.
Yeah.
So then we wake up and we're at Teresa's house and they are talking to Joe Giudice, who is beaming in via FaceTime so he could be part of this whole, saying goodbye to Gabriella situation. And that's when Louie enters the room. Hey, who we talking to, Dad? We talking to Dad? I can't take that guy.
I felt bad. Gia just is crying. It's such a big thing, but such a great thing also.
It is so, I can't, it rips your heart out when one of your kids.
It's my daughter's last day of high school.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
She left the house, and I just thought, it's good and exciting.
Oh, that is brutal. I feel like it was our last day of high school, just, I don't know, 10 years ago. But it was, I always, my heart goes out even to Teresa when Joe said, "I'm proud of you girls," through the phone. Teresa broke down, just fully bawling. And once again, it's Teresa's best moment because it's authentic. She basically
says, "We'll turn the phone away so your dad doesn't see me cry." Give me a break.
So ridiculous.
And then did you see after, though, they're asking about who pays for the college?
Yes.
And, which is no surprise. Joe Giudice, I mean, his dildo company, it didn't take off, so he can't help. But then they asked her, does Louie? And her physical, she looks down and goes, "Of course he does."
Did you exactly the pause? She said no. She was very confident saying, "No, Joe doesn't help, but he's still trying to get his life together in the Bahamas. Does Louie help?" And then
her body language changed. Well, maybe maybe on their joint account, maybe he writes the check.
Exactly. But there was a very pregnant pause.
Yeah, I saw that.
Louie pays for what? Fake Cartier bracelets. Then they finish packing the truck. Everybody waves goodbye. And then Louie and Teresa retire into the backyard so they could have a face-to-face. And I'm calling them my good as gold moments. This was my good as gold moment. And when I say good as gold, I mean absolutely the opposite. I hate
that I have to remember this right now.
So, okay, let's just not get it wrong. They sit down and Teresa asks him if John came up to him the night before. And he says, no. And then he says,
but I did look at him and he's one ugly guy.
Yeah, but before that, he says, "I don't have time for a loser like that." Calling John Fuda a loser. I mean, Louie has no space calling anyone a loser.
Point one finger at someone, there's three pointing back at you.
Just say it. And then, but yeah, so then what exactly did he say about John Fuda? Because it was horrible.
He said, "I got a good look at him and he's one ugly guy."
I mean, it's like he's a 15-year-old girl. It's so embarrassing. Then
he pounces on her.
But before that, she says, "Oh, he says something about the people. I'm so sorry that you have to be around these people." Or she says, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I brought you around these horrible people." And he says back to her, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry that you've had to deal with them for so many years." And then he says, "The saddest part is that they're just pushing forward stories that aren't true." They're pushing stories that aren't true. I mean,
documented truth in the media.
Hello?
Right.
It's unbelievable. And then yeah, they just can't believe that they're surrounded by such horrible people. And then he just pounces on her. Yeah. I mean, they basically just start humping. What was that? That was the weirdest shit.
I know.
I mean, that was so awkward. He is so awkward. The way he moves towards her, it is odd. It is so odd. They're hard to watch for me. Then Teresa lies again when she says that she didn't say that he was the biggest drug dealer in Paramus County. And then they cut back to her saying those exact words.
Well, she's trying to turn it around to say that they're saying that she said it's now time instead of back when he's 17 years old or whatever.
Exactly.
They're trying to say that I said it now, Louie.
Yeah, but indeed she did. Because you did, sweetie. Exactly. I think she lies so much that she's at the point where she can't keep track of the lies. She doesn't know when she's lying. She's just, she's just constantly trying to stay in front of the last lie.
Yeah.
But she's getting confused.
Too much.
Then it's the morning. Then it's the morning of Joe's party, and we meet Josephine.
Oh.
Joe's new blow-up doll that was a gift from the Fudas. Marge Sr. arrives, and I gotta say, did you see that woman? She's ageless. I mean, she looks amazing. I don't know what she does, but that's what everyone should be doing. We should all be doing whatever Marge Sr. is doing.
Does a lot.
And speaking of Marges, I thought Marge Jr., is that what we call her? There's Marge Sr., Marge. I don't think she's ever looked better. I mean, she looks, I don't know what kind of work she's had done, but
always,
it's working.
She's always been great.
I think that Marge has is wearing the crown for me this year.
Same.
Then Jackie arrives. Jackie wasn't there for 5 minutes before she started bringing down the vibe. I mean, Jackie is...
I used to like Jackie. I loved Jackie.
I heard Marge on, I don't remember what it was.
Watch What Happens Live? Or
maybe Jeff Lewis, when she said recently that Jackie is Teresa with brains.
Yes.
And I felt that 100%. Which is why she's a little more dangerous than Teresa, because Teresa just constantly, Teresa tells on herself. She can't even help it.
And
right?
Jackie's well-spoken and
more, she's just more clever, period.
Right.
Then Tiffany with the pretty teeth is there. We see
gorgeous mouth.
So I'm pretty sure that she'll be there next year. I mean, because they're really pushing her forward.
Yeah.
Then we're at Gabriella's going away dinner. And that was sweet. I mean, just seeing the way those sisters interacted, they're really all so connected. They've had a lot of trauma bonding, truthfully.
Yeah.
Because of what their parents have done. So then we're back at the party. Frank takes Dolores aside and Pauly and drops the big news that he's finally getting engaged.
He says, well, I got to tell you guys, I'm going away.
I know. I was worried. I know, but he's finally marrying Brittany, and I thought that was so sweet. And now maybe Pauly can stop being so threatened by him, because I know Pauly tries to act like he's not, but he was. Now he was. Then Jen Fessler saunters up to Marge and Rachel, and Margaret asks her about her talk with her Kiki. Is that what girls call it? Her Kiki with
Teresa. Yeah.
And they give her shit for being such a wuss. Did you think she was a wuss?
No.
I mean, did you?
No.
I think she was kind of the opposite of being a wuss.
Exactly.
And I also think it's possible they say that she was talking all kinds of mad shit. I think that when you hear one person's side, you can talk shit about what you're hearing, and then also kind of want to peek in that door for yourself. And I think that's all she's doing. I don't think she's trying to shift allegiances. She's just trying to be that bridge.
Yeah, you can be friends with two groups of friends and not tell on the other.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you're betraying that other person.
No, and they were coming at her.
Then Marge told Jen, you overtalk everybody. Things started to get a little contentious. And Rachel got vulnerable, and she told Jen Fessler that she was genuinely really hurt, started crying. I mean, we had tears and everything.
I mean, she's just emotional in every scene, though, for me. I mean, I like her, but she's coming with a lot, you know?
It's funny when I watch her, I kind of, right now at this point in my life, I'm like, I'm sitting there saying to her in my head, girl, it doesn't matter. Let them do their thing. Because when you know what you know, like I say all the time, when you know what you know, it doesn't matter what they think. But I know that now at 52. But when I was 35,
of course,
I would have been fighting that fight. If I'm going to be completely honest, I would have been fighting that fight. I would have been, don't talk about my family like that. My reputation mattered then, or at least, I thought it did. So I get it, just because that's where she's at in her life.
Yeah.
But now, knowing what I know, I'm like, just don't engage.
That's exactly how I feel. It's like, God, chill out.
And I think that's where kind of Jen Fessler is, but she's more our age.
Right.
Right? That's why she's operating differently.
Yes.
So then inside the house, Marge and Rachel run into Danielle and she lends a sympathetic ear. And then Jen Fessler exits stage left.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out of here.
Out of here.
But I kind of get that. I would do that too. At this point in life, I would be like, no, I'm not engaging and gotta go.
And Danielle's like, she was supposed to spend the night, or Fuda, they're like, she was supposed to spend the night at our house. Sorry, Charlie.
Well, I mean, who can blame her at that point? Would you want to go back and spend the night with that after I wouldn't. I'd be like, gotta go. Yeah. There's a bathtub at home with my name on it. Then the Gorgas go out and they take sweet little family pictures with their daughter who's leaving to college.
Who physically doesn't want the hugs or the kisses.
Who does not want the hugs or the kisses. But you know you have to get that picture because truthfully, once they leave, it is, I mean, of course you have your kids back in the same place, but the dynamic is never exactly the same. And it is important to get those final moments. So I sat there watching that and yeah, I found myself like I cried probably 3 times throughout this episode. All the goodbyes with the kids just kill me. Even Teresa's kids. Then it is a very happy birthday to Joey Gorga. And I mean,
this Italian themed party was hilarious too, because it's like, really, there's never been an Italian themed party ever in your whole life.
I feel like every single birthday he's had is probably Italian themed, but it's just never had that title.
Right, this bread, the bread with Italy.
The bread that said ciao. Did it say ciao?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's say ciao or happy birthday to Joey Gorga and ciao until next time, my love. Tell everybody where they can find you, birthday girl.
Instagram, Christy May's Garage.
Christy is the succulent queen, everybody. If you are in the South Bay and you need the most beautiful succulent work that you will ever find, hit up our girl. All right, babe. I love you. I hope you have a great weekend. Cheers. That's my girl. Can you guys believe that we have known each other since we were 7 years old and now we're 52? It's so wild. Anyway, you guys, it is time for our question and answer period. Our first question comes from Shauna from Riverside. She says, Dear Jen, curious as to why, let me put my glasses on so I can actually read. Curious as to why you put the word boundaries in quotes when you were talking about Ariana on one of your videos. And I'll tell you why, because it's not that I have a problem with boundaries, because I don't. I'm fully aware of the fact that boundaries are important. I have plenty of them. But I also know that there are a whole lot of people who put up so many boundaries and use the word and term boundaries as basically, they use it as a crutch. They use boundaries as a crutch so that they don't have to wade into their emotions and feelings and work through things. They just say, oh, this is my boundary, but then they never have to bridge that gap. They never have to do the work because they just keep a boundary here and never have to deal with anything. And I feel like that's what Ariana has done a lot of. And I still think that she's done it. I think she's basically just abused the term boundaries in an effort to just keep herself perched up on this sanctimonious pedestal that has allowed her such good fortune. And I think that she has kind of misappropriated boundaries. Okay, our next question comes from Erica from Arizona. She says, Dear Jen, curious as to how you feel about Gia showing so much face this season. So yeah, you guys, I don't know if you've heard, but word on the street is that we're going to be seeing a whole lot of Gia Giudice this season, which I don't really have a problem with, but I will have a problem if Team Teresa says anything about anyone speaking back to Gia because she's a kid. That no one can weaponize that. If she's going to be in the game, she's going to be in the game. And when you enter the arena that is Housewives as an adult, you know, things get messy, and Gia just, they can't play both sides of the fence. You know, Gia can't in one breath be allowed to say whatever she wants because she's an adult now, and then not be able to take it. So as long as everything is fair, then I'm fine with it. Okay, everybody, that about does it for this episode of Generally Speaking. But before we go, I just wanted to remind you guys to take a minute to ground yourself in gratitude. Take a minute today to make sure that you look around and notice everything that is going right in your world. Because when you consciously shift and focus on the things that are going right in your world, more of those things start to happen. So take that time. I promise you, it is an investment that you will be grateful for. Okay, everybody, that does it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I've loved spending this time with you. If you'd like to follow me on socials, on TikTok, it's This Is Generally Speaking. On Instagram, it's The Jennifer Snook. If you would like to collaborate or ask me a question that you would like answered on the pod, you can email me at jennifer@jennifersnook.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you smash that subscribe button. All the other platforms, give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating. We would love that. Thank you so much again, you guys. And until we are together again, stay rooted in love.